Self-love is one of those things that as we keep on growing and evolving, we keep on learning how to love ourselves more and more. And I'm somebody who sits here who had a lot of abandonment issues growing up, had some father issues growing up, and really had to learn how to work on myself and my self-love. And if you do not know, I am Crystal Ray. I am an empowerment coach and a life balancing strategist. And I'm all about giving you tips and tricks on how to stress less and live a holistically healthy lifestyle. Today, I'm bringing you my top 3 books on how to create more self-love and how to, start to create more self-compassion. And these are 3 books that really changed my life. So the first book that we're going to start with is called Self-Compassion, and it's by Kristin, Neff. And Self-Compassion, hands down, helped me tremendously back in 2012 when I had hit rock bottom. And it is a book all about learning how to love ourselves again. And it's so common to get into this place where we think that outsiders know better than we do. We have a little bit of a hard time fully accepting ourselves. We kind of struggle with who we are. We're very judgmental and critical on ourselves. And Self-Compassion, it is a bigger type of book, but life-changing. In Self-Compassion, you're going to learn that it's time to stop beating yourself up. It's time to stop doing that, okay? It's time to now just love up on yourself. And Self-Compassion is really going to give you the blueprint on how to do that. And like I said, it was one of those feel-good books for me that really did make a difference in how I was talking to myself and treating myself and viewing myself, right? Like, this is our own life, and we have to feel good in our own life. And so it's up to us to make sure that we're talking to ourselves in a way that feels good for us and that we're giving ourselves love. Because if we're not giving ourselves love, how can we be there and love other people? And also, where are we going to get that love from? We start to seek it from outside sources. And somebody outside of us, we might be more susceptible to being hurt because we're looking for external validation and somebody else may not give it to us, especially in those moments where we would like them to. And that's when we feel disappointed. So learning how to provide ourselves with self-love and self-compassion, that's where it all starts and that's where it's at, because then you don't go outside and you don't start looking for external validation. You just give it to yourself. So self-compassion is going to help you minimize the negative effects of talking down to yourself. And it's going to help you reach your highest potential. It's going to help you to become that person that you've always wanted to be, and you're going to start to really just feel empowered and love yourself. And so I absolutely love this book, Self-Compassion. Like, hands down, one of my favorite books, one of the best books that I have read. My second book suggestion is going to be The Gifts of Imperfection. So you guys might be really familiar with Brene Brown right now because she does have a Netflix show on right now. This is one of her books called The Gifts of Imperfection. And in this book, Brene Brown references a lot of research that she has done. And she definitely helps you understand that a lot of the things that we feel and that we think and that we doubt in ourselves is very common amongst men and women, and that there's differences between men and women, but a lot of this is common. And it's really about letting go of who you think you should be and starting to become who you are. And my favorite thing about this book is that many chapters, she has something called Dig Deep. And with the Dig Deep, she says, get deliberate, get inspired, and get going. So she's giving you actionable steps in these chapters of how to take this all to the next level. So this is definitely one of my favorite books when it comes to self-love, self-compassion, self-help, self-growth. And it's short. So this is much shorter than Self-Compassion. It's definitely a quicker read, but there's a lot of goodness in it and a lot of depth. And if you're somebody who likes the science, if you're somebody who appreciates having research to back things up, this is definitely a good book. I like it when people describe things on the bigger scale. And they explain to me that, based on all the research, this has been the trend. Because for me, it makes me feel like I'm not alone. It makes me feel like I'm not insane for the thoughts that I have or the things that I do or, what I am struggling with or what I am going through. It's nice to know that there are other people out there who, I never wish this upon anybody, but it's nice to know that you're not alone when you're struggling. Because sometimes when we're struggling, it might feel like we are alone. But there are so many of us who feel like we downplay who we actually are in order to fit in or like be in a specific role or gain somebody else's approval, or because we're shy, we don't want to be vulnerable, we're scared, we're very fearful. And once you start living life from a place that you are just yourself and you just be yourself, things happen differently because you're honoring your truth. And so life becomes really, really easy and really seamless. And the right people stay your friends. You know, people that aren't meant to be your friends won't be there anymore. Your family will always still love you because they're family and they will always come back around. And it's just really freeing to live that life. So the gifts of imperfection is one of my favorites because it just really helps you and encourages you to reconnect with your inner self, gain that self-love, gain that self-compassion, and it gives you practical steps on the things that you could do to get there. Good one. So, the third book, and this one has definitely been one of the buzz books for like the last couple years, but it's Jen Sincero, You Are a Badass. Love it. I love her language. It's an easy read. It's very conversational. It's definitely motivational and inspirational, and it's definitely a really good pick-me-up. And so for me, that book is like a go-to, get my energy up, high vibe. Like, it does really make me feel like I'm badass. It really does help pick up my confidence level, and it secures some of my feelings. And it is another really good, encouraging book to just really help you feel your power. And I'm here today to remind you that you are powerful. You exactly as you are, who you are right now. You don't have to change. You don't have to morph into something else. You just have to allow who you really are to come through and shine through, right? Show your kindness, show your love, show your vulnerability. Be able to express that and trust yourself. Like, I know how easy it is to have a challenging time with making decisions. Like, I could definitely be a little bit indecisive. And if you ask my boyfriend about it when it comes to food, he will definitely tell you. But the more you start trusting yourself and you start trusting your gut and you start believing that you're making the right decisions for your life, you're going to have that self-confidence and you're going to start evolving. And that's where this whole self-compassion, self-love, self-trust, it's all intertwined. It all works together. But these three books, Self-Compassion by Kristin Neff, The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene, and You're a Badass by Jen Sincero. Those three books are going to hands down help you tremendously when it comes to self-love and self-compassion. And if you read even just one of those books, you are going to start to feel so much more inspiration, motivation, self-confidence, and like a, yeah, man, I got this. So on this journey that we are on, we are all evolving, we are all continuing to grow, and that's what it is about. You're not meant to be perfect. You're not meant to be perfect right now. When we reach that, what else do we have to work on? We're always going to have something to work on because we're living here in this lifetime right now. And in my mind, the whole point of being here is to keep going along on the journey and keep progressing and keep changing and evolving. So it's a good thing to have things to work on. And this whole topic of self-love and self-compassion, you can just start to expand on it even more. And so every single day you can start to have more self-love for yourself, and it'll just keep on growing and growing and growing. And it's something that you can cultivate. It's like planting seeds and just watching them bloom. So I hope this video is really helpful for you. Please check out these books. I think they are so awesome. They are so worth it. Really good reads. And if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe so you don't miss another video. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and what your opinions are of them, which of these three are your favorite. And until next time, bye.